Anyways, this is the part of the game where I get to the review of the post-game review, and I do really want to talk about this game because this game, I feel a mixed bag over it. I usually do the review in terms of story, visual, like graphics slash presentation, and what is it? Is it just those two? There's a third one, and I'm totally forgetting. I guess. Oh, and gameplay. Let's start with the visuals. I think visually the game looks good. It's not anything crazy. There is a bit of pop in. I think stylistically, obviously, this is not a game that's trying to mimic real life. It's very stylized, and I feel like it's very Dragon Ball Z. So visually, I think the game looks good. Some of the cutscenes are a little janky, but when they really put the money into the cutscenes, it's really good. These are the same people who did Dragon Ball Z, or no, they're the same people who did the Ultimate Ninja Storm games, and I really like those games. Like the fights in those games were like sometimes they were better than the ones in the anime. Visually, when this game gets going, it looks really good, and I want to give it credit for that. I don't really have any too many complaints about the visuals. Sometimes it's just the pop-in's not great, but other than that, it's fine. Let's talk about story. This is basically I don't know if I can recommend this story. If you're not familiar with Dragon Ball already, if you don't know the Dragon Ball Z story, like I don't think this is the best way to experience it. I think Dragon Ball Z Kai is a good way to experience it. It's a condensed version, it's less filler, but it's still like the full breadth of the game. This game is an even more condensed version of like Dragon Ball Z Kai. There is still some of the filler stuff in it, but it's even more condensed. I don't know if you get the same impact playing this game as you would watching Dragon Ball Z Kai for like the first time. So if you want to experience the story of Dragon Ball Z, I don't think this is the game to do it. And there's a lot of issues I have with Dragon Ball. I like Dragon Ball Z. I don't want it to sound like I don't like it. It was like a big part of like my childhood. I watched it like several times. I watched all of Dragon Ball Z. I haven't watched a lot of Dragon Ball, or at least I don't remember a lot of it. And I haven't watched Dragon Ball Super. But my issues with the story of Dragon Ball, and we'll talk about it more with the gameplay. But my issues with Dragon Ball are very much in this game. It's just there is no sense of scale in how powerful you get. It seems like you could switch Boo with Frieza and just say that they're like, you can interchange their power levels, and like the fights won't change. Like it's still gonna be big beams, it's gonna be big balls of energy we're throwing at you. It's gonna be, our hair is gonna be golden or whatever. It's just I don't think Dragon Ball does a great job of representing how powerful someone is. And it's the same with this story. You're told these enemies are stronger than the enemies you faced before, but they don't seem stronger. You know what I mean? They tell you like, oh, they're a danger to the universe, but they don't seem much more dangerous than anybody else we've seen. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, they're more powerful, but really in name only. That's what I feel about that, and that's like one of my bigger issues with the plot. For a lot of the characters, they don't have character arcs outside of, I guess there are a few that have character arcs. I don't want to say there aren't, but our main character Goku doesn't. He goes back and forth between being foolish and like kind of a battle genius. He's like all over the place. He's wishy-washy. Gohan has an arc. Piccolo has an arc. Vegeta has an arc. So I don't want to say characters don't have arc. There's just not a lot of emotional weight that could carry like big fights. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the fights, there's just no emotional reason to get invested, I find. Outside of like, oh, the planet is gonna get destroyed, but the planet's not really gonna get destroyed. You know what I mean? It's like a fake, and it's something I've talked about before. It's like, we have the Dragon Ball, so they kind of remove all suspense. There's no fear that someone's gonna be dead, and if they do die, they're gonna be forever. So there's like not any stakes. Like, you can destroy a planet. You can say you're gonna destroy a planet, but there's no shot you're gonna destroy a planet narratively. You know what I mean? Like if you did, that would just be kind of a bad or a sad ending. So it's not a real threat, in my opinion. So there's just not enough emotional weight in a lot of these fights. That's why like one of my favorite moments in Dragon Ball Z, and they kind of have it in this game, but it's like a shortened version. I don't think it comes across as well. Is the fight against Cell. Goku knows Gohan can beat him, but Gohan has to get angry. So he sends Gohan into this fight with Cell. And Gohan is not the fighter that Goku is. He's not like angry. He's like a peaceful guy for the most part. So Goku is banking on Cell being able to like kick his butt enough to where he gets angry enough to get to Super Saiyan 2 essentially. But Goku doesn't know Gohan well enough to know that like that's not really gonna happen. And Piccolo like steps in and he's saying like, hey, your son, man, he's not a fighter like you are. He just, he's peaceful, he's like kind, he's not who you are, Goku. He doesn't crave the fight. But as he's getting his butt beat, he's probably wondering why his dad is not stepping in to save him or to help him. Like that's a very strong emotional moment. That is so rare and few and far between in any of these stories. So that's like one of my bigger issues, and that's maybe a thing that as I grow older as an adult versus a kid, I just want to see big beams. When I was a kid, I want to see big beams, and I want to see golden hair. You know what I mean? I want to see transformations, and this game's got that in spades. But emotional, story wise, and it's it's coming off the source material. I don't think it has that narrative weight that I would like to see. All right, I think I've covered that. The gameplay, also not great, and let me tell you why. It adheres to Dragon Ball Z so well with the gameplay, and that's not a good thing. This game is supposed to be an RPG, right? It's supposed to be an RPG, but that means there's side missions, there's opportunities to increase your power. So let me show you my stats right now. So I go to my character, and I go to Goku, and I look at his status. You can see his base attack, right, is 164,000. His melee attack, 164,000, right? For example, like in most games, they have stuff you can craft. Like in most RPGs, they have stuff you can craft to permanently increase your stats. So if I go here, and I say make a dish, in a full course meal, these are the best meals. And I look at this, for example, the meat course. The meal effect, will give me a plus 10 to melee attack. Plus 10 to melee attack when my melee attack is 160,000. That is minuscule. That is nothing. That's not even worth talking about. And it's so much to just like get these boosts. These are permanent boosts. Like this one, 100 to melee attack. When I have 160,000 attack, this is pointless. There's no point in doing it. You're wasting your time doing it. Yeah, so that's one of the parts. Getting experience. Again, it's so close to Dragon Ball Z. Leveling up. There's a ton of side missions in this game, and the side mission quality varies heavily. Like 60% of them are find 3 items and bring it back. That's not a very interesting, it's not a very interesting side mission, whatever. But the experience you get from side missions are so low. Like you can do 20 side missions and you won't get the same amount of experience you get finishing one fight in a main story. And that's totally Dragon Ball. In Dragon Ball, if you're a Saiyan, you get close to death, you get an immense power boost just for not dying. Basically no effort at all. But in an RPG, you should be able to make effort to make strides in improving your character. And that's something that like this game had the opportunity to expand on.
What should I do now?
To give you the feeling that you're actually doing something to grow that Dragon Ball for the most part doesn't do. And I'll give you several examples. I gave you the death thing where you get a free power boost. The Namekian King touches your forehead and you get a full power boost. Piccolo fuses several times with people and he gets a power boost. Basically, power boosts for nothing. Even at the end with the Mystic Gohan, he has to do a ritual for 24 hours and he gets an immense power boost with no work. RPGs are the perfect time for you to be able to put in work and see power increases. But this game, it doesn't give you that with side missions. They're not significant. The story, if you don't do any of the side stuff, the story will keep you basically in line with where you need to be. You don't need to do anything extra. You don't need to do hardcore training. You just don't need to do that. And I don't know, I feel like it was just a missed opportunity to have these RPG elements, but have them for the most part be meaningless. I did like the community board. I don't want to like say like everything was bad. I like the community board and I like enhancing the people on here, and these do give you actual meaningful boosts that I like in here. So this stuff is good. I like that stuff. But this is like the only thing I like from the RPG elements. Everything was kind of just a waste. And that's most of the gameplay. The side missions, again, 60% of them are just find 3 things and bring them back. There's no like character development in there. Again, side missions are a perfect opportunity to expand on your characters. The game could have taken risks and done things that explore characters in a way that we haven't seen in Dragon Ball. I think, again, that would have been a great opportunity. There's a good mission with early in the game where Yamcha has died and the little blue guy that pals around, I forget their name, is transforming into Yamcha to try to keep up his like relationships with his girlfriends or whatever. That's a good character-driven mission. But there's not enough of those in this game. If there were more like that, that would be so much better. But it's just not there. Is there anything else I wanted to mention? The fighting. If you've done one fight, you've done every fight in this game. They basically boil down to dash a lot, dodge an attack. Your enemy shoots a beam at you, dodge that beam, and shoot a beam back at them. Unfortunately, there's not much more to it than that. I can't really say the combat was great. It gets stale. I mean, it was fine at the start, but once you get used to it, once you've done one fight, you've done every single fight in this game. Enemies are repetitive throughout the world when you're traveling around the world. There's like so many enemies around. It's kind of annoying to travel around because they will follow you if they see you. So sometimes it's hard to move or stay in one place because an enemy is locked onto you. But again, they're the same enemies. I can't tell you how many times I fought that robot enemy. So many times. There's not a lot of variety in that. Yeah, I guess that's it. I don't think I can recommend this game, and I admire that they've included so much content in this game, especially with the DLCs, which you have to pay extra for. But if you want to do that, there's a lot of Dragon Ball Z you can experience in this game. If you want to experience the entirety of Dragon Ball Z, you can do this with this game, and I appreciate that. But if you're not familiar with Dragon Ball, I can't see yourself having a good time with this. And me, as someone who is familiar with Dragon Ball, like, sometimes I'm like drudging along with this game. I don't know. I wish it was better. I wish if the combat or the RPG elements were more interesting, that would have had me hooked. But they just weren't. I mean, those were big selling points of this game, was the RPG elements, and they're just insignificant. They're there, but they're insignificant. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. I think I got my point across. I might cut this out and put it into a video on my channel. But we'll see. But I just can't recommend buying this game. Maybe there's better Dragon Ball Z games out there. This is just not one of them. I think it tries to be too many things, and it kind of suffers for it. You know. Yep. I mean, if you like Dragon Ball Z, give it a shot. I feel like you'll even get a little tired of it after a little bit, after the repetitiveness of this game, and it's a long game. I feel like you'll get even tired of it. But if you haven't played this game, or if you haven't seen Dragon Ball Z, or if you're not familiar with Dragon Ball Z, I don't think you'll like this game, because it's not a good way to experience the story. So yeah, I can't recommend this game. I don't know. I don't see myself ever playing it again. I don't plan on getting the DLC unless that's something you guys want me to do. Then so be it. I'll do it, of course. But yeah, I can't recommend this game. I wish I could. I finished it. I wish I could. There's a better way to experience Dragon Ball Z. All right, we're getting repetitive. Like this game. That's it. If you guys want to leave a like out or subscribe, you can. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it really helps out the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you guys on another video. I'll be starting streaming another game sometime this weekend, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. I'm going to eat dinner. This has been a 7-hour stream. This is the longest stream I've ever done. And it was for this game. That's unfortunate. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.